Tottenham, the team that finished 17th in the league, the team that lost over 20 matches last season, and the team that sacked their manager who won them their first trophy since 2008 or whenever it was, are after Morgan Gibbs-White. This, even by Ornstein standards, what are you doing, Ornstein? There is no chance in hell that Gibbs-White would choose Spurs, an inferior club.
Wolfie. The
Hello.
European champions are bolstering their muscles. What is going on?
You're doing the whole
Wolfie?
European champs thing. You're running that line in front of me when I got these.
Well, how long ago was that?
Does history just have an expiry date, or what are we saying?
We're talking about current European champions.
I thought that was PSG.
They're also a European champion as well.
They're a higher level European champion.
Yeah,
We're a European
my
champion.
level. I get that. How are you, boys? You well?
It's good to see you, Wolfie.
I'm brilliant,
Good to
Wolfie.
see you
How are
guys
you,
too.
mate?
Yeah. So what have I missed?
Hasn't your brother called you yet, Wolfie? I'm sure he's let you know.
I actually haven't spoken to my brother yet. I was on another channel as the news was breaking, and by the time that stream finished, it was a here we go. And I was like, when have Spurs ever moved like this in all my time of watching football? I can't think of it apart from deadline days. You know, Harry Redknapp outside the in the car park and what have you. This has just been a whirlwind today, mate. Whirlwind.
It's been crazy. In terms of your immediate reaction to Tottenham triggering the release clause, was there an expectation he was going to be leaving this summer? Has this taken the fan base by complete surprise?
There was a lot of talks about Gibbs-White going to Man City towards the end of the season and the start of the transfer window, and then they ended up going with Cherky and Reinders, etc. The talk then moved on to him signing a new contract and contract talks happening between him and Forest. It's been very quiet since that Man City talk to now about Gibbs-White leaving Forest. The thing that was probably playing on my mind was the fact he had 2 years left. So I'm speculating here, but maybe they couldn't come to an agreement on the contract, or maybe he did want to play the Champions League football. But I don't think Forest could then risk leaving him into his final year this time next summer with Bosmans, etc. on the horizon. What's taken me most by surprise is the release clause. We'd never got wind of any of that at all in his contract. So that one's caught me kind of a bit left field. But yeah, the general reaction is, you know, he was a very important player to us last couple of years. Is he that difference maker for you? I hate to disappoint you. I'm not convinced. He can be a very frustrating player, an excellent player, but a very frustrating player. If you're expecting someone to bag you double figures from the midfield in goals, he's not your guy. He needs to work heavily on his shooting. But his highlights reel always look very, very good. And that's not copium, by the way, boys.
It sounds a bit like it, to be honest. It sounds.
I'll tell you why it's not. It's because he's our version of Bruno Fernandes in terms of he's the linchman, but he can also be very frustrating on the pitch. You know, 70% of what he tries doesn't come off, but the 30% that does is pivotal. You know, it's kind of. I mean, I'm making up the percentages, but you get my point.
He's got 15 goal contributions last season, 15 the year before, 12 the year before. I mean, that is a significant amount of goal contributions in a Forest side. I know you did very well last year, but, you know, don't mean to be rude, but the last couple of years you hadn't done too well.
They don't score many goals,
to put it bluntly. And yeah, you know, in a very
finishing 17th ain't a nice position, is it?
No, it's not exactly. Yeah. And I know you can feel my pain. I'm sure you can feel my pain.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, is there no sense to say that at Tottenham he can take his game to a higher level and, you know, much improve that goal output or that contribution output?
I think for me personally, for Gibbs-White to kick on to his true potential, I don't think he has reached his true potential. I personally would like to see him play more as an 8. Because I don't think his finishing is good enough. But what he has, better than most players I see in the Premier League, is his work rates. his work rates are phenomenal. He'll get up and down that pitch. The same, energy he puts minute 1, he's still putting minute 90. Fitness-wise, he's very good. His passing is, yes, it's a bit too flamboyant, but a lot of Forest fans would probably agree with me when I say if he just simplified his game a bit more, he would be even better. He doesn't need to go for the Trivela outside the boot pass every other pass. Just play the simple 5-yard pass, etc. And him inside the middle of that midfield, I think he can almost pull the strings in a midfield a lot better than where he is higher up the pitch. Now, your style is different to ours. Well, on your previous regime, it was. So I think Gibbs White maybe gets a bit more freedom higher up the pitch in a Spurs team if you are playing a bit of a higher line, depending on what Thomas Frank does. He's got the potential. I think he's looked very good, for example, in the England games when he's been around more quality midfielders, because I think our midfield has been lacking in a bit of quality over the last couple of years. So when you put quality around him, and I know you've just brought Kudos in as an example, he can thrive off that. But where he thrives well is when he's got a playing partner on the pitch. So Brennan Johnson, I know you guys have, your varying opinions on him, but him and Gibbs White had a phenomenal relationship at Forest in terms of goals and assists between them, and they did drive, and they were the reason we stayed up that season. So that's a relationship that can be rekindled there. I don't know what you're doing with Jono, with Kudos coming in probably on that right hand side, but there is a lot of potential within him, but there is also a lot of frustrations.
Could he be more of an 8, do you think, for Tottenham? Do you feel like his best position is definitely a 10, or do you think maybe he could thrive more of an 8 position?
I would play him in the 8. I would 100% play him in the 8, because I think what you could do is potentially play him in the 8, put Maddison in the 10, depending on, obviously, on the formation you've got. His work rates will free Maddison up to be more creative in that final third, because Gibbs White will happily do, the hard graft as well. And then, like I said, he'll find those link-up plays. Him and Maddison could find themselves having good chemistry on that pitch. But he'll almost play like the 68 and the 10 all in one game. That's how heavy his work rates are. And he's a trigger point for a lot of our good stuff. Now, I'm not coming on here saying he's a scrub or he's a rubbish player or anything. I'm just saying with his talent and what I expect of him, there is still elements to his game that I need to see improving. And that's why I would like to see him deeper, because I think his biggest weakness is shooting. So if you're almost eliminating that and make him more as the assist or the assist of the assist, or the guy who turns over the play in midfield and then can trigger your attack, I think you will see him revel even stronger if you do that. But it's whether or not he sees himself as a 10 or Thomas Frank sees himself as a 10. My personal opinion in the last few years of watching Gibbs White is put him a little deeper and he'll be more influential.